welcome the Freedom students, man. We get a round of applause for the bands real quick. My name is Gary.
Hi, everybody. I'm Justin. I want to give a shout out to all the online students and welcome y'all back.
We also want to... You didn't tell them your real name.
I said Justin.
Your name is Lemon Drop.
First of all, don't get disrespectful, bro.
All right. Well, anyway, we want to welcome you guys back, man. If you are new, we would ask that you... They didn't put it up there. Text the word new to the number on the screen right here.
There you go. Come on,
Man,
man.
you're supposed to help me, man. I'm nervous.
I'm trying to. You don't want. You take it.
You got all these people staring at me like this, bro.
Take it. Take it. You got it.
They're staring at me like this. I feel bad. I'm shaking.
All right, but hey, make sure you do text the word new for the first time guests. Hey, and please, if you do get the chance, come holler at me. This is the only dude I get to hang out with while I'm here. You know what I mean? So I need to meet some of y'all.
We also want to say that we do keep a good distance with one chair in between everybody. And then we also want to get ready for this next song called Rattle. We ask that you guys, vibe with us and rock out.
All right, we're going to sing a new song tonight. It's called Rattle. It's a little bit different. I think you're going to like it. Y'all put your hands together just like this. We sing Saturday was silent. Saturday was silent. Surely it was through. But since when has impossible ever stopped you? Friday's disappointment was Sunday's empty tomb. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is a praise, make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Fire, it's stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon. In resurrection power, it runs in my veins too. And I believe there's another miracle here in this room. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Dead man walk again. Open the grave.
Make some noise if you're excited to be in this place today. Make some noise. Make some noise. Listen, I am so excited to be up here today. And I know y'all weren't expecting my face. Y'all like, who's she? Who that chick? Listen, for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Raven. And really quick, I'm going to pray over all of us today. So bow your heads, close your eyes. Jesus, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to be here and learn together. And I pray right now in this place that you would help us to leave differently than the way that we came in, God. We're so grateful for you. We're grateful to be able to be here. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. You guys can go ahead and take a seat. I'm so excited to be here, y'all. For those of you guys who I don't know, my name is Raven. I serve here on staff alongside PJ, and I'm really excited that he's allowed me to be up here. And I want to take a moment and honor PJ. Can you guys show PJ some love really quick? Just show him some love. That's good. If you're online, show him some love in the chat box. Listen, I had so much fun being able to watch that guy over quarantine because he was making, y'all had this man on TikTok, and he was trying to connect with you guys in any and every way possible. And I want you guys to know, like, I didn't have somebody like that in my life. When I was your age, I didn't have somebody that was willing to do anything and everything to connect with me. And so being able to watch him, he's like a big brother to me. It was so cool to be able to see that. And I'm excited to be able to be here today because we continue in our series called The Freedom Way. And I know PJ kind of started us off with this 2 weeks ago. And I want you guys to know I like it when you guys talk back to me. Does that make sense? So if I ask you a question, you can actually respond. I'm not going to yell at you, okay? So I have a question for you guys. Do you want to experience God's blessing in your life? That makes sense, right? It's not a trick question. It's pretty straightforward. Do you want to experience God's blessing in your life? Yes, I do too. I want God's blessing in my life as well. But if you didn't know this, there's actually something that can block God's blessing in your life. And see, I used to play basketball. For 4 years, I played basketball. I played basketball for 3 years in middle school. I played basketball for another year in high school. I wish I could have continued playing basketball. And as I talk about this, I'm going to invite some friends on stage really quick. And where are they at? There they are. But I love playing basketball. Two things I hate about it, though. Number one is offensive charges. How many of you guys play basketball in here? You know what I'm talking about? Offensive charges get on my nerves. Let me tell you. If I saw somebody about to take an offensive charge, I would plow into them. Because I was like, you're going to regret your life if you take one on me. That's terrible. Don't tell your parents I said that. But it's true. The other thing I hate about it is blocked shots. I hate it when somebody was trying to block my shot. Like if I went for a basket, see, Gary's going to try to block me. Let's see what happens. I don't know if he got any. See, here, throw that back. No, give him a hand really quick. Thank you. See, whenever my shot was blocked, I would get so angry because I tried to do anything and everything I could to get to the hoop. And y'all can leave. But if my shot was blocked, I would get so angry. And so today's message, we're going to talk about how we can unblock the thing that is blocking the flow of God's blessing in our lives. Because I don't know about you guys, but if something is blocking the flow, I want it to be able to flow easily, don't you? I want it to be able to flow freely. I want to be able to receive God's blessing because I need more of that. Y'all need more of that? I need more of that. And so we're going to dive into the book of Mark, chapter 6. And it starts off, and Jesus is in this place, and he's teaching. And where he's teaching at is so cool because he's doing miracles and everything. And then he decides, okay, I'm going to go back to my hometown. And so we're going to start off in chapter 1, and it says, Jesus left there and went to his hometown, accompanied by his disciples. And these disciples were just people that followed him around. They were like his crew. It says, when the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. And they said things like, where did this man get these things? So they're really questioning. They're like, is that Jesus? Who is this dude? They're really confused. What's this wisdom that has been given him? What are these remarkable miracles he is performing? Isn't this the carpenter? Ain't this the dude that built my bench out back? Isn't this the guy who built my house? Isn't this Mary's son and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us? And they took offense at him. Now, I want to stop right there because I want to point something out. They had a real issue with Jesus. Because imagine, you're friends with this guy. You're hanging out with him every day. You're playing Madden with him. You probably saw him when he was a toddler. He ripped off his diaper, running around butt naked. You saw him when he lost in 2K. You were playing him in Fortnite. You were playing tag. You were playing football. You did all these things with him. And now all of a sudden, he's grown up. He just left the city where he was doing miracles, and now he's in your town again, and he's healing people, and he's teaching people about the kingdom of God. These people are like, wait, ain't that the dude that helped build my house? His brother slept over my house last week. That's Jesus. And they have a real hard time trying to figure this out. And in verse 4, it says that Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives and in his own home. He could not do any miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. He was amazed at their lack of faith. Now, we just sang that song called Rattle. Is there anything that Jesus can't do? I would say that too. Because I would think, this is the guy that fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. This is the guy that literally raised people from dead and brought them back to life. There's nothing Jesus can't do. But it says here in the scripture that he couldn't do any miracles. There was something that was blocking God's blessing in the lives of these people. Jesus couldn't do any miracles but lay hands on a few people. He couldn't do what he was doing in the other cities. And remember, he had done it in the city before. He did it in the cities after. But he couldn't do anything in this place. What was it about this place? What was it about these people that kept Jesus from being able to perform miracles? And I'm going to give you the answer right now. It's familiarity. Familiarity blocks the flow of God's blessing. And maybe you're like, what? That don't make no sense. You see, these people had seen Jesus. You remember I said in diapers. They had seen Jesus play with Legos. They had seen Jesus play in the dirt. They had seen Jesus eat dirt even. Like, they had seen Jesus do all these things. And so they're looking at him like, there's no way you could be the Son of God. You're just that kid down the block. I know you. I know who you are. Another way to say this is that it's a lack of honor. It was a lack of honor that was blocking the flow of God's blessing in that place and in their lives. They couldn't honor him as Son of God now, so they couldn't receive the blessing that God had for him. I'm going to put it this way. Have you ever been to Kroger? How many of you guys have been to Kroger or Walmart or Publix, wherever? All right, put your hands down. So when you're in Publix, have you ever had anybody walk up to you and say, ooh, those fruits aren't organic? They're gonna have to cut out your kidney if you eat those. You've never had anybody say that to you, have you? Would you listen to them if they did? Probably not. Why? Because you look at them and I'm like, I don't see your doctor's degree. You don't look like a doctor to me. So because you don't see them as a doctor, you can't receive the information that they have for you, can you? In the same way, they couldn't see Jesus as Son of God. They kept seeing him as that little boy. And so they couldn't receive the miracles that he had and could perform in their lives. And so the Freedom Way, that's the series that we're in right now. The Freedom Way that we're going to talk about today is called We Are People of Honor. We are people of honor. Honor flows in all directions. Honor flows up, down, and all around. And for us to honor God, we must honor each other. And let me tell you guys, this is something I'm bad at. I'm not gonna lie. This is not a message where I'm teaching and preaching and stuff, and I know what I'm talking about, because I sure don't. I just want you guys to know, I want to be real with you guys, and I love the way PJ preaches, because when he does, it's always something that he's like, I'm not quite good at this yet. And it's the same thing for me. I'm not quite good at this yet. I'm working on it. And see, honor is not something we talk about often. You guys might hear about integrity. You might hear about respect. You learn respect when your parents spank you, don't you? You hear about respect, but you don't really hear about honor. So let's start with a working definition of honor. What is honor? Honor is to treat someone as precious and valuable. That's what honor is. Honor is when we see somebody as precious and valuable. And so right now, I want to let you guys know, we don't talk about that much because we're bad at it. Like, I don't want to talk about the fact that I don't dribble as well with my right hand as I do with my left. I'm left-handed. I'm not going to talk about that as much, but I will talk about how I can dunk on people and drain threes. Don't clap for that. But you see what I'm saying? Like, we don't talk about what we're bad at as much. And I want you guys to know we're bad at honor. Here's how I know. Because we wouldn't have to say that lives matter if we already saw lives as precious and valuable, would we? I went deep real fast, didn't I? You wouldn't have to make that point. If we already knew that lives are precious and valuable, we wouldn't even have to make that statement in general. But because we're bad at it, we do. And I'm not talking about just us in this room. I'm talking about us as a culture, as a world. Like, we're just bad at honor. And see, it's important that we talk about this, because you guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen some of the way that your parents talk about people that don't look like, that don't think like, that don't act like them. You've seen the way your parents talk about some politicians. You've seen the way your friends talk about people that don't look like your group, that don't act like your group, or don't talk like your group. The people that, maybe if you're an athlete, the people that aren't athletic. Maybe if you're really smart, the people that aren't quite as smart as you. Dang, you stupid. You've seen that before. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We don't honor people. We don't see people's lives as precious and valuable, and it's showing up now. And we see it. We're seeing it day in and day out now. We're seeing an issue with it. You may even see it in your own life. You're preferring a certain type of people that act like you, that think like you, that look like you, because you don't really know how to interact with the others, right? And it's an issue. Because this is exactly what is blocking the flow of God's blessing in your life. And I want to help you figure out today how we can eliminate that. I deal with clogged drains in my house. I don't know what the deal is. I think my hair is like a monstrosity of hair. Like, look at this, y'all. It's crazy. And sometimes, like, I would have to pour down Drano, like down my drain to get it to flow properly, to unblock the flow. I want to teach you guys how we can pour Drano in our lives, essentially. How we can eliminate what's blocking the flow of God's blessing in our lives. You remember I said that's why here at Freedom Church, we are people of honor. Honor goes up, down, all around. In order to honor God, we must honor each other. You see, the first thing that we have to do is we have to have a high view of God. Say a high view of God. We have to have a high view of God. There used to be these T-shirts that would go around that said, like, Jesus is your homeboy. And those T-shirts were devastating to me. I was like, gosh, this is terrible. Please, nobody buy that. It was just a bad T-shirt. Not because of the aesthetics necessarily, but because of what it said on it. Jesus is your homeboy. And some of us see Jesus like that. We see like Jesus as if he's a part of our crew or our squad. For a long time I did. I was like, yeah, Jesus is my friend. But here's the issue with it. Do you always listen to everything that your friends tell you to do when they tell you to do it? No, you don't. Because sometimes your friends are stupid. They say things they shouldn't say, right? It is what it is. You shouldn't always listen to them. Sometimes they don't say what's best. And so you kind of have to pick and choose what you listen to, right? We do the same thing with Jesus. When we see Jesus as our homeboy, then we kind of do what we do with our friends. And we say, oh, Jesus, I'll listen to that commandment. But you commanded me to love all people. Ooh, I don't like that one. I don't like the way his breath smells. I'm sorry, I can't. And so we have an issue with it. We pick and choose what we want to listen to. And so when we treat Jesus that, Jesus can't be a part of our squad. He can't be a part of our crew. You see, Jesus isn't that because he is the risen and conquering king. Does that make sense? He can't be that in our lives. He's not just somebody that we talk about on Sunday and Wednesdays. How many of you guys have phones in here? Everybody in here probably has a phone, right? You have to put apps on your phone, right? It's something that you add to your phone. Jesus isn't just a little app that we add to our lives. He's not just something you sprinkle on top to make yourself look better. Jesus is the operating system. He's the foundation that our lives are to be built upon. And what that means is that we have to take Jesus and say, okay, I'm gonna have a high view of you. I'm going to have a high view of Jesus by saying, okay, I'm not going to pick and choose what I'm going to listen to. See, if you have a low view of God, then you probably see what he says to us as optional. If you have a low view of God, then you see Sunday mornings as ooh, do I got to? I'm kind of tired today. I don't think I'm going to go. Or you see Wednesdays as I don't want to be dealing with all them people. They loud and obnoxious. I ain't doing it. when we start to see his commandments as optional in our lives, then that's kind of how we view God. And obedience to God is a thing where if it's convenient, then we'll do it. Like I mentioned, love others earlier. We begin to love other people if it's convenient. Y'all, and I'm not gonna lie, this is an area that I still struggle with because sometimes people just ask too many questions, they get on my nerves, and I'm like, I'm done with you. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired. But we'll say, I'll love them because they think like, look like, and act like me, but them, we take that piece as optional in our lives, and it's an issue. And thereby, we end up having a low view of God. When we have a low view of God, it blocks the flow of God's blessing in our lives, and we are unable to receive what he has for us. And that was the issue with the people in that town. They couldn't see him as the Son of God. They kept seeing Jesus as a friend. They kept seeing Jesus as one of them. And as a result, they couldn't receive what Jesus had for them. Say it again. We have to have a high view of God. We have to have a high view of God. We also have to have a high view of people. That's the second thing that we need to have in order to unblock the flow of God's blessing in our lives. And I'll say this right now. If you have a high view of God, then you will have a high view of people. If you have a low view of God, though, you're going to have a low view of people. So, if you show me how you interact with the people around you, if I'm able to see just like a day in your life, if I'm able to get a little peek, like if I were to get a peek of a day in the life of Lexi, I'll use Lexi because I can pick on her. If I could get a peek in her life and see how she interacts with people that look like her, the people that don't look like her. If I could see how she interacts with the people that smell bad and the people that don't smell bad. If I could see how she interacts with the people that are butt heads and the people that aren't butt heads, then I'll know how she views God. Because if she's honoring and loving and seeing their lives as valuable and precious regardless of what they look like or how they act, then I'll know she has a high view of God. Because here, the Bible says this too. You cannot honor God if you're dishonoring towards other people. You can't act like trash towards people and then say, I'm a follower of Jesus. It's an oxymoron. You can't do it. You can't genuinely care about the people around you or genuinely say that you care about God and not love the people around you. It's not a thing. You can't do it together. How many of you guys in this place have ever seen Sandlot? Has anybody in here ever seen Sandlot? That's such an old movie. That movie's ancient. I'll tell you guys, that movie's older than me. And I saw that movie for the first time last year because Pastor told me that I wasn't a Christian if I hadn't seen the movie. So I was like, well, let me go see that movie then. He was joking with me, but I went to see the movie. And I say I went to see it as if it was in the movie theater. It was not in the movie theaters. Somebody gave me the movie, and I saw it. And it was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. It put me to sleep a couple times. But the movie, for those of you guys who have never seen the movie, it's a movie about baseball. And these kids are playing baseball. They love it. Like, this is their game. And this new kid comes to the town, and he's like, well, I'm gonna play with you guys. How many baseball players are in here? I got some baseball players? Okay, so you guys know this movie. All right, put your hands down. So this new kid comes to the lot, and he's like stoked to be able to play. But the issue is he has 2 left feet. This kid can't hit the ball to save his life. He's terrible at the game, like awful. He's probably worse than I would even be. And so the kids are like, all right, fine, listen, you can come. And they allow him to come and hang out. And well, the kids are playing and everything, and the best kid on the team, he hits the ball. And he hits it so hard that the ball bursts. Apparently, you can do that in baseball. Is that a real thing? Like, can you really burst the ball? Okay. So the ball bursts into pieces, and everybody, and the kids are like, crap, what are we going to do? We don't have a ball now. And it's not like they had a bucket of balls with them. Like, they legitimately couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't buy anymore. They didn't have money. And so they're, like, really at a loss. And, well, the new kid is like, I got you, buddy. I got you. Don't you worry. I have what you need. I have a ball at home. Don't worry about it. And it's really cool because they're like, all right, this kid is cool. We can let him on the team. The issue is he shouldn't have been touching the ball. How many of you guys have touched something that your parents told you not to touch? Me too. Well, how many had bad things happen as a result? Me too. I ain't gonna lie. I think I lied on it about my brother too when it happened. But this kid, he doesn't know that. But this kid, he gets this ball and he's playing with it. And they take it out to the yard and everything, and, well, over time, they're playing with this ball, and they hit this ball so hard, too, that it goes into the other yard, which it's not that big of a deal except for the fact that this yard has this monstrosity of a dog in it, and they can't go get the ball back. I'm pretty sure the dog like eats the ball up, doesn't he? No, he doesn't. They just lose the ball. So basically, they could get their faces eaten off. So the ball is lost, and this kid starts losing his mind. And the kids are like, "What's wrong with you, dude? It's just the ball. Don't worry. Like, it ain't no big deal. We can get another one. Don't worry." And he's like, "No, guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. My dad's gonna kill me for losing this ball." And they're like, "What's the deal with this one ball? What's the deal with this one ball, dude?" And they're like, he's like, "It had his signature on it." They're like, "Whose signature? What does this mean to us? Whose signature was on it?" He's like, "Baby Ruth." And they're laughing at him, and they're like, "You mean Babe Ruth?" For those of you who don't know who Babe Ruth is, because I got some people that are like, that still don't mean nothing to me. He's a famous baseball player, one of the most famous baseball players ever to play the game. That ball is probably worth millions of dollars. And it was a big deal. The ball was just a ball. What made the ball a big deal, though, was the signature that was written on the ball. It was the name that was written on the ball. And you see, there's not a single person that you've laid eyes upon, that you've had the opportunity to talk with or interact with, that you pass by in the store. There's not a single person that you've seen on Instagram or TikTok that does not have God's signature written on their life. There's not a single person that you had the opportunity to hang out with. There's not a single person that, maybe these are even people that you don't even like, that Jesus didn't die for. There's not a single person, no matter how ugly or cute you think they are, that wasn't made in the image of God. Every single person is valuable and precious to God. They all mean something to him. And what this means is that everybody that you've encountered is more precious and more valuable than you'll ever realize. It's impossible to honor God if we aren't honoring others. It's impossible to say that we care about God if we don't care about others. And you know, it's hard to have a high view of people sometimes, isn't it? Because how many of you guys would say, like, yeah, I've encountered stupid people today, like that get on my nerves today? Like, that's a thing. You probably get on your own nerves too, let's be real. But I know, for me too. But sometimes people are so crazy, or they say things or do things or believe things that are so not true that it makes us think like they don't deserve it. Why do I have to honor him? Why does even God see them as precious and valuable? Why is that even a thing? In Romans 12:10, it says, love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. You see, this is one of my favorite verses, which is hilarious because I say I'm so bad at this, which I am. But it's one of my favorite verses because it's the one area in the Bible that I believe that God tries to make a competition out of something. He says, outdo one another in showing honor. If somebody honors you, honor them more and more and more. Honor them so well that other people are looking at you like, what on earth? That's crazy. Honor people that don't look like you or act like you or believe the things that you believe so much that people are looking like, that's excessive. That's much. You need to calm down. You're doing the most. Honor people so well that other people are turning their head like, what's the deal? What's so different about this person? Like, why? Why are we doing this? And I want to say this right now because for a long time I thought it was about me trying harder. And y'all, I suck as a person. There's no amount that I could try harder to get better at this. And so I had to realize it wasn't about me trying harder to honor people, but it's about me leaning into God and saying, God, with your power, help me to have a higher view of you so I can have a higher view of people. With your power, help me to see people the way that you see them as precious and valuable so that I can honor people the way that you honor them, so that I can remember and know that your name is written on them, that you love them, that, yeah, you died for them too, even though I think they're stupid. And he says to us every day, you are precious and valuable. Even when I told my friend earlier that I look like a sack of potatoes. And even though I said that about myself, he still sees me as precious, as valuable, as enough, as royalty even. That's weird to say about yourself, isn't it? I'm royalty. I'm righteous. I'm a child of God. And that's how he sees you, though. You see, and PJ I think he opened up this series saying, like, I have a dream for this world. I have a dream too, like, that we would have a culture of honor. That the prevailing culture of this world will be one of honor, where we see each other as precious and valuable regardless. Where we look at backgrounds and we say, it doesn't matter. That when we sit across from the table of people that have different backgrounds from us and have done different things in life than we've done, maybe they've been to jail 15 times, I don't even care. That we can look them in the eyes and say, you aren't what you did. I don't care what you tell me, you aren't what you did. You are who God says that you are. There's no amount that you could mess up that could change that either. Like, that's what I desire for the culture of our world to be. But it starts here. I have to start with me and say, dude, how am I viewing people? Can I look at all people and say that? It doesn't matter what you did. You were still precious and valuable and loved. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have a big mouth sometimes. We did a series a while ago, this is My Big Fat Mouth, and I got a fat mouth. Sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. I say stupid things all the time. And I still want people to look at me and be able to say, bless her. She is still precious and valuable and loved, even though she has a big mouth. And I know you guys want people to say that and think that of you as well. It has to start here. And the last thing I want to say for today is honoring people is decided. It is not deserved. Say, it is decided, not deserved. It's a choice, y'all. You're not always going to feel like it. Just like you don't always feel like waking up sometimes in the morning and getting about your day, and somebody gets in your face and it's like 7 a.m. and you're like, I need you to back up. I haven't had coffee yet. I don't feel like talking to you. You guys don't wake up at that early right now. You guys are waking up at like 10, right? You still wake up that way? Okay, I started something. See, you're not always going to feel like it, though. It's not a feeling, it's a decision. Or you'll think in your mind, that person is not honorable. They do not treat people how they should be treated. They are not loving people the way they should be loved. I know I've thought that about people, where I'm like, oh my gosh, how could you even talk to a person like that? I'm not going to lie, I've thought that too. But you see, God honored us when we were dishonorable. He honored me when I was dishonorable. In Romans 5:8, it says, but God showed his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And y'all are thinking, but you work at a church. Like, you can't be that bad. Yes, I can. I promise you, I can. They didn't know what they were getting into, and now they got me, and they're like, well, guess we got to deal with it. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Y'all, that means on my very best day, I still don't deserve the love of Jesus Christ. I still don't deserve what he did for me. What did he do for me? What did he do for you? He had nails driven into his hands and into his feet. He had a sword stabbed into his side, a crown of thorns placed on his head. And not only that, but he said to us, I'll take your sin too, because that's the point of all this. That sin, that mess, the crap that nobody knows about, the crap going on in your mind that you don't tell your friends about or your parents, the stuff you're afraid to even share because you're not sure how other people are going to look at you because we lack a culture of honor. He honored you when you were dishonorable, when you don't deserve it. And he says to us, listen, I love you. You're precious and valuable, so much so that I'm willing to take your sin and offer you eternal life, offer you life with me, offer you forgiveness, love, peace, joy, unity, offer you all of these things because you are worth all that. I see you as precious and valuable. You don't think you deserve it, And that's the best part of it. That's the best part of it, honestly. Because there's nothing that you can do to make you deserve it. There's not a single thing that you can do. So all across this place, I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes. Some of you guys in this place, the best decision that you can make today is not the decision to decide to start honoring people. That's not the best decision you can make today, necessarily. It is the decision, it's the decision to say, man, to understand and receive the fact that God has honored you first. And so right now in this place, I want to offer you guys the opportunity to receive what it is that God has given you. Because Jesus did what you couldn't do for yourself. He did for you what you couldn't do at all by taking your sin to the cross and dying for it and saying, you are precious and valuable in my eyes. And so right now, all across this place, I'm going to say a prayer to give you guys the opportunity to say yes to following Jesus, to saying yes to that forgiveness, to saying yes to that joy, to that peace, and to that love. And I want you guys to repeat after me. And this isn't a special prayer. It's just your way of saying with your mouth and believing in your heart that what Jesus has for you is for you, to unblock the flow of God's blessing in your life. Say, Jesus, thank you so much for loving me. Thank you so much for dying for me. Thank you so much for caring for me, even when I was dishonorable, even though I don't deserve it necessarily. I pray that you would come into my life, that you would make me new. I put my faith and my trust in you. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Everybody raise their heads. Man, I can't talk anymore. Listen, I want everybody right now to take out their phones. Take out your phone if you have it. If you prayed that prayer for the first time, I want you to text the number on the screen. Text trust to the number on the screen. I told everybody to take their phone out just so everybody's comfortable doing it. And listen, if you made that decision for the first time, I want you to know that I'm so proud of you. Put your hands together for the people in this place who might have made that decision. That's amazing. Listen, we are so proud of you guys. Honor is not about trying harder. It's about trusting what it is that God has already done and having a higher view of God. If you have a higher view of God, you have a higher view of people. So pray for that. Pray that God gives you the view of himself that you need to have so you can see other people as precious and valuable regardless. Let's pray together. Jesus, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to learn from you and hear from you. I'm so grateful for what it is that you've done in our lives, and I pray that we'll be able to see you and we would be able to have a high